James Pickel is often seen on society pages, usually crisp and buttoned up, often in black tie, but he prefers the softness and colors of the outdoors these days.
To me, success isn't measured in dollars. You've got to be happy, you've got to have friends, you've got to have people that you love and that love you for who you are. You need a good dog. You need a good cat if you don't like dogs. But those, and I think I learned that being raised by Depression-era grandparents. You don't have to have the biggest house on the block or the biggest bank account. If you can go to sleep with yourself every night and be happy with what you did that day, I'd say you just had a successful day.
He spent years at the desk and making connections to build his very successful Smith Pickel Construction. Started in 1976, he and his partner Sam Smith sold the company at the first of this year. Now he is happy to be an employee.
I still help with the marketing and contracts, building permits, taking care of clients.
Smith Pickel completed more than 600 projects under its founders, one of which was the Chesapeake campus. Pickel helped close the deals, but is quick to point out his role was limited.
I'm not the architect, and there are much better people at building buildings than me.
James Pickel grew up in Duncan, Oklahoma, raised to love gardener's work by his grandparents. A goal of veterinary medicine changed a handful of times and wound up being a degree in economics, but more importantly, the beginning of a lifetime of friendships on which he would build his career.
The architect with whom I partnered was a fraternity brother, Rand Elliott. And I was very fortunate to hook up with somebody as creative as him, because it made it a lot easier to sell him as an architect. And the contractor for whom I went to work was Ron Yorty. It was the Yorty Construction Company when I went to work there, the company we bought in 1990. And he was probably the best contractor in Oklahoma City. So I've had a career of working for one of the best architects and one of the best contractors in Oklahoma City.
Armed with the knowledge of how to build good client relationships and the details of construction, he would team with Sam Smith to start Smith Pickel and take a different approach to construction.
We looked at our job as solving problems. And in relationships, it's the same thing. There's always going to be disagreements or problems, no matter whose fault it is. And I learned it didn't help to blame anybody. You just figured out how to solve the problem.
Different personalities and roles meant different approaches to helping the company grow. For James Pickel, it meant ingraining himself in the community.
I figured out if you're going to network in your community, you need to get involved with the nonprofit world. It wasn't totally altruistic, because we have done a lot of projects for some of the same nonprofit boards that I've served. They as the client, us as the contractor. But it kept me involved in the community. It kept me connected to what is going on.
At the high point, he was on 22 boards in addition to running his own company.
I wouldn't say I'm a workaholic as much as the things that I wanted to accomplish required me to work hard. I know some people who are workaholics. I mean, it is their goal to either be rich or to have a big company, and those were never my goals. My goal was always to be successful at whatever I did.
Despite all he has attained for himself, his company and his nonprofit groups, he is still surprised when he is recognized.
Considering the other honorees makes it an even more important honor for me. With David and Tom and Bill and Josie, to be included with people like that, it's hard to say no when you're with those people.
This year's Entrepreneurial Spirit Award recipient from the Oklahoma City University Meinders School of Business Hall of Honor is James Pickel.